What is going on? What is good? What is Gucci? Hi, this is Boyder. This is my podcast, Do You, and this is the show where I talk to people who make stuff happen. Today we have a fantastic guest. His name is TJ Eaton. His sunglasses company, Dick's Cottons, just launched their new subscription model called Shades Club. They launched it on Kickstarter and received over $320,000, which was 800% of their goal. But our convo was entertaining for me because it turned out to be more about his life philosophies rather than focusing on building the bank account. We discussed topics from practicing gratitude to building a lifestyle community around the product to finding a business partner that brings balance to your company. And yeah, we do talk about the Kickstarter and him and Rich Amundsen, his business partner's approach to their successful campaign. And it gets very interesting, guys. Get the notepad out for this one. Get the voice recorder, whatever you need to recall some of the gems that TJ drops on us. But without gabbing your ear off any longer, let's welcome him. TJ Eaton, what's up, my man?
What's up, man?
Where are you right now?
So I am in Orlando, Florida, Sunshine State. Thank you for having me. I've been listening to your last podcast, and you're always doing dope things, so I really appreciate it. But
listen, we've been trying to get on the horn for the last 3 weeks, and you're hard to get a hold of, but I'm grateful that you're here as well, man. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, no doubt, man. New companies, new babies, new things going on, a lot of things happening, and we're both hustling, so. I get it.
I didn't take it personally when you told me the only time that you could talk to me was at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, man. Gotta get it.
You're a partner in a company, and I saw all over my internet feed the glorious goal that you surpassed by about 800%. What was your goal going in for that Kickstarter?
So, well, basically. My business partner, Rich, and I, we created Shades Club. And what we wanted to do...
Shades Club.
Yep. It's the world's first subscription box for sunglasses.
So not shade like, sitting under a tree. We're talking like shades
sunglasses.
Shades sitting above the nostrils on the eyes.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Exactly. The first thing you notice on someone's face. So basically our goal was... I'll give you like a little bit of perspective, was one, to set out and change the world of sunglasses for our age group, our friends, and out as they know it, to do something really different. We really started with a clean slate and wanted to not just make sunglasses, but make sunglasses better, I guess, so to speak. Right. But really our first goal with Kickstarter was to take something from a concept and officially be a company, and that's what we set our goal to do. So what was the amount of money that we had to do to say we're up and running overnight in business, and that's really it.
And what was the if you go on Kickstarter, what was the number, the amount?
So we had a 60-day campaign, 2 months, that we wanted to raise $20,000 that would cover all of our initial startup costs for the first month to get this up and going.
And how much did you raise?
We raised $321,000, $321,908, something around there. And
so that's exciting. Congrats on that.
Thank you. The money part of it's exciting, and we'll talk about valuation and how like startups are working these days, I'm sure, later on. But I think what was more important for Rich and I was that it was the actual having over 3,000 members when we launched. Was huge for us. I mean, it was just huge because it just proved that there was a demand for this, and we already had a hunch. And with our existing company, Dick's Cotton Sunglasses, and we'll talk about that. But it was huge for us to have that much support, on the jump, and it really gave us a good platform to get started. So we're grateful and thankful, and Kickstarter is just an incredible platform for anyone who's got a new business, wants to launch an idea. If you do it right, you can really connect with the people who are really involved and all about discovery.
Listen, I really want to get into how an individual or a company or a group of guys can do Kickstarter right, but there's I gotta be very honest with you. There's something
Yep.
a little overwhelming to me about if I was in your situation, what I would do with $300,000 after raising a Kickstarter, fulfilling, this community that has just supported my brand and my mission. And like, as
Yep.
much as it would be overwhelming in the fact in like, all right, now we gotta deliver this now. So I want you to take me back to the beginning, and give me a little history on your journey to get to this point.
All right. Well, first of all, I think if you look at, there's a parallel between the company and both Rich and I and how we, came up, to this point. So it's disruptive innovation, it's timing, it's execution. Rich and I are all about exploring potential, obliterating boundaries, and kind of just pushing out all the edges of what can be. And, we wanted to be known as the people that changed the way that sunglasses are perceived. And what I mean by this, is, to you, Boyder, and everyone in the community that you built listening, is like, is think about it like this, is like, don't bullshit me either, is how many pairs of shoes do you own?
I own about 7.
All right. Let's talk about shirts. How many shirts? How many hats? How many hats do you own?
7.
All right. So now let's think about the ladies here. We can't forget them, right? Handbags, yoga pants, jewelry, lip gloss, right? Think about that number, right? And here's what.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about. Oh, I must tell you that I've kind of just recently went through a minimalist phase where I've been throwing out everything.
I cannot wait to talk to you tonight because we have to get right back into that. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, yoga pants.
Here's the
jewelry,
thing.
Yeah. Talk to me.
What we wanted to do is we just really felt that sunglasses never really fit into that conversation, and it's large in part to due to how the market is set up, and we'll dive into that. But there's a real parallel between that and starting a business, and that understanding right there, with disruptive innovation, timing, execution, and how I grew up. And I can tell you about Rich, and we'll dive into that when we talk about our companies. But, I think when you get to like the nitty gritty of it all is, you got to start somewhere. And my parents and how I grew up, was really instrumental, in shaping who I am. So, when you said that about like, oh, if I had 300 grand or whatever the number is, sitting in a bank account one day when you woke up, or, for me, it was more surreal. It's like we raised more money in 24 hours than what my house I grew up in costed. I'm a product of South Jersey, lived in Philly, Delaware, PA, you name it, right? And, born in Camden. Yeah, man. I mean, we've been out in Philly together and, Flyers fan, through and through. But I really kind of, there was a really like pivotal time, I would say, was like, when I was early teens, and into fashion and things like that early on, and into the beach and being outside a lot. But the quick fact on that is that my parents, like, we lived in Maple Shade, and, I didn't have all the money and all that stuff, and it wasn't really important, but my parents taught me like a lot about work ethic and growing up. And literally what they would do, Tom, is I asked them, I said, I'm going to take the lawnmower. We put it in the Ford Escort station wagon. They would drop me off in Morristown and leave me for the day. And I would just go knock door to door and cut anyone's lawn who would pay me. I mean, the big ass lawns, big ass houses, right?
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
I just want to know about that situation.
Yeah.
Did you have when you cut these lawns, were you wearing headphones?
Of course I was. I was wearing a Sony Walkman. You remember them?
So it's the 90s. What artists? What do you have in that Walkman?
Yo, it's so funny. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. We'll do a quick name drop. His name's TJ. Also, TJ Mizell. He's Jam Master Jay's son, and he was just down here in Orlando this weekend on tour with Jeezy and ASAP Ferg. But I was talking to him because it was surreal. The first cassette that I ever owned was Run DMC "Raising Hell." So
you were getting money to Raising Hell in Morristown, New Jersey.
This is it. Yeah. And then, take it a step further, I just saw how labor intensive that was, and we had to travel, I had to have the car, all these things, gas for the mower. So then,
Yeah, yeah. It's
my
not
dad
just cutting
talked,
the lawn. It's like how to be efficient with it,
right.
and you have till sundown, and you have to deal with talking to these strangers at the door and delivering a product, a clean
Yeah.
looking lawn. You
So,
know?
and I always, I got in there nice, I hit every corner. I did a good job, but, I also try to learn, could I run with the mower and get it done faster? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
of course.
then fast forward the next
Dangerous.
pivot. Yeah, it could be, but, you're raising hell, right? So,
Mhm.
I got this entrepreneurial blood, hard work. Meanwhile, my parents were going and cleaning offices. They're teachers, right? So here's the thing. The next thing we did is I got a paper route. I'm 12 years old, right? And I didn't just get a paper route. I got 113 houses. So it was really surreal in timing because I was delivering the Courier Post, which we all know, I'm sure. And then literally a week ago, they just called to do a feature on us and our company. And I was like, kind of blown away. I was like, that was my first like real job from a company. And now
Yeah,
like you're interviewing. I was like, it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? But
that's badass, man.
yeah. So you learn to hustle, man. Collection day was the best day for sure. But man, talk about delivering a product, man. I rolled the papers, made sure they were up on the door.
Now,
I was good with the customers, so it started early, man.
how much did you charge per lawn?
Per lawn.
Like
So back
25 back
then,
then?
man, no, I wish, man, we were getting 20 back then. But
Wow.
but uh, but then you start to develop those relationships, and then people look forward to you. And now then they can't even walk out of their house or look at their lawn not being good without thinking of you. And that's when the phone rings and start building the business.
See, I got I remember not having the confidence to cut other people's lawns because like like I would always miss stuff and then I had to go over it and then like you can when you cut a lawn you can see the streaks,
Bro,
right?
I'm so visual. I'm the same way. So I used to love like the patterns. So sometimes I do like, the vertical, or sometimes I'd
Yeah.
switch it up, just, you're getting the money either way because you're young kids and not going to leave you on the street. But,
Yeah, you might
yeah,
not get you might not get that that return
you go
business though.
diagonal on somebody in Morristown, you got to be careful. You got to stay in the lines.
Yeah, you could upsell them on that though. You want that
You
diagonal?
could.
It's extra 10, baby. Listen,
It's like,
but the you know what I used to do? I used to do I used to shovel driveways because you can't really mess up a shovel driveway. Like there's either snow on there
absolutely.
or there's not, and that
Dude,
was something I was confident in. It was, it's either it's cleared and I can pull my car in, and the grass I would always find a way to screw it up. I'd like run over one of their flower beds or something. That
Dude,
wasn't really me.
guaranteed are people listening to this and are going to listen to this that know what that was like. But I'll tell you, the difference was I used to get hyped when it was about to snow because I knew I was going to go with my best friend, grab our shovels, and we were just going to start crushing it
Uh,
before any companies got there, at least
yeah,
start on the block. But it goes back to what you said about confidence. Like my parents, that's a massive business. 113 houses on the BMX, on your Diamondback, like when you're 12, like. But my parents just really instilled a lot of self belief in me, and that's really, I think, where it all started from. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Now, when you were, let's talk about like in like the high school age, did you kind of have an idea that you wanted to do your own thing, or were you still sort of just exploring like options at that age?
Yeah, well, you know what? It went kind of both in two directions on that. Like number one is, I left that area. My parents worked so hard. We moved to Medford or Tabernacle, and I went to Shawnee. So went from school 500 where my dad's a high school wrestling coach to 2,500 kids where the students are driving nicer cars than the teachers, right? So, my parents just told me this is when I started playing ice hockey too, because I didn't start playing hockey because we didn't have the money till I was in high school. But they're like, pick a sport, take it as far as you can go, and it'll pay your way through college. So that's really what I set my eyes on. And yes, there was a huge left turn I made there is when I broke my mom's heart. I called her in 96 and I was like, I'm leaving home. This is the end of my junior year of high school. I told my mom I'm leaving home. And I got recruited to go play at this all boys boarding school. And I'm going to go repeat my junior year, no senior prom, give up all the friends I made. And I'm going to go live at an all boys school and play hockey. And, you know, it was one of the top 10 high schools in the country. And, like, you know, the founder of 5 Hour Energy, and all kinds of really cool entrepreneurs went there. So it was an opportunity for me. You know, I was a
Yeah.
guy walking around with I'm on financial aid sign, but I worked my ass off there. You know what I mean? And you know, really got a trip around the world. You know, because people were from all over the world there. So that was really
Yeah.
cool. You know.
Yeah, and we were talking about it on the phone call before. The average of the five people you spend your most time with is like, you're some of that.
So I have this thing called the 5 Fs, right? So this is my little wisdom. So
The five.
5 Fs, like the letter F, right?
Okay.
So it goes in this order, right? So I spent a lot of time with my cousins growing up and close friends, but it's faith, right?
Yes.
Faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances, right? So faith, first of all, it doesn't have to be religious. It's just being spiritual, a belief in something, right?
Belief in.
So
Yeah.
in anything, you could be a Buddhist, you could be,
Yeah.
really into something, spiritually, some sort of connection, right, to
Something.
the world,
Yeah. Something supreme
bigger than
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
right? Right. So you got your faith, and you got your family, right? And I'm talking immediate family, like mom, dad, closest cousins, whatever your definition of family is. And
Yeah.
if people didn't grow up like that, whatever you define that those core 5 people as, right? Then you have your friends, right? And I'm talking your close friends, kids that you'll talk to for 10 years go by and you're still reminiscent,
You
right?
pick up the phone, you're the same people.
100%, right? And we all have them, right? So faith, family, friends, fitness. Now, this isn't just physical. Like, this is all mental fitness. Like, how do you grow as a person? Like, growth, development, reading, listen to dope podcasts like this, instead of doing, what everyone else is doing, and then
Oh, thanks, man.
finances, of course, man. I mean that. And then finances is, obviously money. But, what I've learned is if you put any one of those above the other, you get off balance. And life for me personally and professionally has all been about balance. And that's what an entrepreneur is about. It's not just time management. It's how do you balance personal and professional? You know what I'm saying? And quality of life. So if you start putting your money before your friends, you're going to lose a lot of friends. Trust me. But, you're not, you start chasing girls around and, chasing money, chasing girls around instead of getting money. Like, if you have money, the girls are going to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you just keep those in check, man. But it's a really good basic guideline for people who are looking for some ideology. I won't start chanting on you or anything, but
No,
that's
listen,
kind of how I
man.
live by.
Listen, man. I love it. I love every second of this. You're like a talking book. You know what I'm saying? You're like a human book. I like painting that picture of like your governing values. I told you I was getting into the minimalist approach, whereas I was becoming mentally and physically exhausted because my mind
Yeah.
was stretched way too far. My body,
Yeah.
like everything.
A lot of people have a New Year's resolution, like, I started doing like, first of all, the whole minimalist thing. I did that, especially when moving from Jersey to Florida. Like,
Yeah.
you got to make the cut, but like you learn that in traveling. For me, I learned how to make the cut and how to live real simply. Like, I worked in Cancun and been going there for 18 years and lived down there 4 months a year and in resorts and all inclusive. But when I traveled, I always personally like to go, backpacking on some like really dope surf trip to like Central America, which is like a couple friends and like anything you can fit in your bag, one of everything, instead of more, but, I understand the whole minimalist thing for sure, but also like, it's what you get out of being a minimalist and the value. It could be your time, like you're saying, or be able to get more things done. But, I started with New Year's this year, and not to go on too long, but like, I did a whole like 360 evaluation and kind of set up like this life mapping, like about how to, believe in yourself, free your mind, live simply, give more, expect less, and whatever you're thinking, think bigger, and keep the 5 Fs in check. And, I guess how I've been doing a lot of that recently with Shades Club and with Dick's Cottons and with the charity is a lot of visualization. Like, I spend a lot of time like listening to podcasts for sure, but like even just before bed, however you do it, just like really visualize everything through completion, another thing is I always, at the end of every night, for me, when I'll talk about this later, but I have 3 gratitudes I do every morning. And then one thing I'm really happy that I accomplished every morning, every night. I just
Yo,
like,
yo,
you know,
where did you get that from? Is this just kind of like,
yeah, it's like a culmination of everything. You know what happened is like I got to a point where I realized my business partner sent me this email, right, about, how much time you have. And it broke down, like, we always talk about time as the most precious commodity, me and him, right? So,
a
and
hundred
we do,
percent?
we
It's
do that for our
insane.
customers because we want to create a product and a brand and an identity that people in our culture, who are on the same frequency can vibe with. But, if you don't have like, I think some like guiding principles behind that. It's all about saving people time and money, and so they can have more money and more time to go do what they love with who they love, because that's what it's all about. And I'll break that down in the
Wow.
business in a second, but we start with a small circle, family, friends, and business. Don't compromise. Learn how to say no, right? Protect what you fall in love with is something I live by. You know, Redesign your life, always be present. And, for me, how I do that, I had some little things too, was like to speak with intention and not for attention, be radiant and confident and like really take action and take control, man. Because when you break it down, man, like, and if you only go in the ocean once a year, my business partner sent me this email, man. It was mind blowing. It was like, dude, if I only went in the ocean once a year, I'm only going to be able to go, you know, 35 more times in my life. And that's like profound when you break it down. So we're all about like the slow movement, and kind of just being a happier, healthier, more productive with
Yeah.
deeper relationships. And that comes with seasonality, just being seasoned and going through, grow through what you go through. Right.
Man, protecting your time is the most underrated thing in the world. So
Maybe
protecting
that's
it,
why we had such a hard time getting in touch with each other. We're both doing the same thing.
yeah, yeah. There was a time in my life where I tolerated a lot of more people in it that just for no
Yeah.
reason. You got like a 70 to 90 year, let's be honest, like blip
Yep.
in like the millions of years, the billions of
Dude.
years that this world's going to be around, and every single second, right? If
Yep.
someone is is not adding to your time, they're adding a
They're
benefit
taking
to your
away.
life. They're taking away. Like, so you're
Right.
either improving or you're not.
So
And
let's go there with that, because this is good for anyone listening. So what you have to do in that sense is, for me this year it was social media. So I said to my business partner, I think I got done watching like Point Break. I go to the movies by myself. I
yo,
love doing it.
wait. I always get made fun of for doing that.
Text me next time you're at the movies. I'll go to the same time at a different theater.
Yo, and then cool, and then we'll text about it afterwards.
Yeah, so
So talk to me.
whatever.
Keep going. Keep going.
If the movie was good or bad or indifferent, doesn't matter. But like, they had these principles that they were living by, right? So like, it kind of just clicked with me, and I was like, dude. So how talking to the audience, right? How do you do this? How do you go about what we're talking about? So there's a million things to do, but first of all, you gotta do a life audit. You have to think of it like breaking into your own house, right? For me, social media was everything. I was like, I'm not going to post more than 20 things this year on social media across all platforms personally. And I want them to be the biggest and best and the most profound things that they could be this year. And then let me try it for a year, right? And I started with that. So it was like I had to break into my own house. So picture being locked out of your house in the cold, and you got to go in. The keys are inside. You can see them. Do you break the window? Do you call a friend? So I had to break in my own house, and I had to do this whole life audit of myself. And I'm like, dude, think about how much time you're wasting on this when you could be doing all these other great ideas you have. And it goes back to the one thing that I would say is like, there's only one you in the world. And for me, it's to make it a better place. So how can I do that? How can I leave a legacy? And for me, there's a lot of things that attribute to that, but I think like for me, just it was like having a smaller digital footprint, clearing out everything unnecessary, which is that minimalist thing. If I had to compromise, I'd rather have 12 dope pairs of sunglasses than waste all my time on social media or meaningless relationships or like things that like you said, like what were you listening to when you were cutting lawns, or like what was important to you? Music was huge to me, so I'd rather spend that time listening to music or something that I can appreciate.
What I'm gaining from what you said is you got to set a guideline.
Yeah,
So
but here's what I can tell you in the first like months of doing it let me tell you my like, I think if you go back and look at my posts, it was like, I launched a business on Kickstarter. We destroyed our goal, set a new standard for people and how they think about and purchase sunglasses with my business partner, right? I got to spend more time working with him on something that we really gave a fuck about, right? And then number two, I had a baby boy, and
Congrats.
Thank you very much, thank you, and I got a house on the golf course.
My man.
So it's like, yo, think about, those are 3 things I posted. But
so
instead of posting 300 and getting none of that shit done.
So when you're 80 years old, right, you're not going to think about, who liked what picture that month of January 2016. You're going to think about the birth of your baby boy, the new house, and a new breakthrough for your business.
But don't get me wrong, though. You're 100% on it. But I love photography, right? It's a personal hobby, right? I have 10,000 pictures probably of my daughter and my son, the same. But instead of posting everything socially and having that, the things you own end up owning you, right? So it's like Tyler Durden in Fight Club is a great example of a minimalist, right? But I love posting photos, but Facebook is for family, right? Twitter's for a different audience. You got to kind of know which each lane fits in.
You're talking to a different human in each one.
Yeah, right. So I still share all those, but I do it through iCloud's photo stream with a select group of people. They can still they can still comment, but it's private. And besides, who wants to see naked pictures of my kid in the sink? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right, man. And I feel a sense of freedom in my mind already just thinking about the fact of doing 20 posts in the next year. Whereas,
here's the thing: it's enjoyable. People are really. It's not that they love social media; they're addicted to social media. They're addicted to and we all are, to the flow of communication because it increases knowledge, right? So don't delete the apps from your phone, right? But I just put all my social in one folder. And I know it's less enticing for me to click on. It's an extra click for me. It's have to click in a folder, click on the social. So I just made it a little bit more out of my reach. It's almost like hiding snacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like putting the snacks. Yeah.
You got to play tricks on yourself.
With a little lock underneath, and like having your son hide it from you, and then all right. So
you're gonna find it. You're gonna find it eventually, but eventually you'll come to a decision. And if you realize and believe in yourself that you have something that you really want to commit to, listen to what I said in the first month of doing so, what my posts were. That I'm not saying it to impress someone. I'm still, renting a house. It's not like I went and bought $1 million home with all the Kickstarter money, and I actually got a better deal than I'm paying now. But the point is, I set a goal and I went after it, and that's all it is. You know what I mean?
Whenever there's a moment that I'm feeling uncomfortable about, whatever I'm working on or hitting a creative block, the first tick you get is to go to get some sort of satisfaction from the world that is at your fingertips with social media. And I'm like, okay, I could just tonight I hit a block. I was going through our questions and what I was going to ask you, and I couldn't think of anything, and I posted a picture of me and my girlfriend in the Detroit airport. Now, why did I do that? I hit a wall.
Why?
I hit a wall, and I was just there's some sort of fix that you get of accomplishment where you really didn't accomplish anything. The world didn't need to see that picture. I'm doesn't make me any better or less. I look cool in it, whatever,
Yeah, but you need that, and it's great. There's definitely gratification in that. But here's the thing too: is so aside from a good friend of mine wrote a book a long time ago. It's called Chasing Cool, and Noah Kerner. Someone get the book, audio, whatever. I've always it's about influencer marketing.
Okay.
But one of the quotes in there is never look in your neighbor's backyard for inspiration, right? And I've always agreed with the second thing that's in the book is just ignore focus groups, right? So here's the thing: if you have something, an idea, which you do, look at what you've created right here. So it's if you believe in it, you just have to believe. It doesn't matter how many people, but there are enough people in the whole world that would be into it, right?
Yeah.
So there's enough people that are going to want to listen to a podcast about entrepreneurship, whether it's music or business or brands, right? So here's the thing, and anybody starting any idea, don't look in your neighbor's backyard for inspiration. And that's why That's why you see, if you go to a bar, every bar looks the same. The people that are changing the game, there's only going to be 10 to 15 apps and companies that start up in a year that are really talked about. And that's one of our goals, right? So the only way to do that is to create your own lane and be absolutely different than everybody. Look at all the people that you admire and respect as like the biggest influence in your life, whether it's Bo Jackson or Ali or whoever it is. They were in their own lane. They weren't looking at their neighbor's tailgate or backyard saying, "Oh, I really want to look like that." They took the time to sit there and like visualize what they wanted. You know what I mean? So I would say the biggest recommendation for people is to, fuck focus groups. And that's what social media is. I'm not saying don't be on it. Use it for what it is. Take pictures on Instagram, not memes. You know what I mean? Like, because it's a waste of time, and think about what you can accomplish with that time. So let me tell you and transition that into Shades Club, right? I talked about having over 3,000 members, right? Rich and I were really stoked on that because what we believe is that we believe that there is at least 50,000 people in the entire world, this whole planet, that would be into or think what we're doing is pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a really big deal because from an investment standpoint, that's an $80 million valuation. And that's not a lot of people, right? 50,000 people, right? That's how many people go to Michigan on Saturday to watch a football game, right? And 3,000 people, it's a huge accomplishment for us, right? But I also, at the other end of me, being an entrepreneur and being focused on a goal, and first of all, if I ever had that amount of money, which I don't know that I ever will, or, whatever the case may be, me, and we'll talk about charity, is like, I already know where I would be donating, right? I'm
talking
minimalist.
about my
I'm personally minimalist.
Ideas, or...
Yeah, so it's absolutely. I would rather do that than there's nothing. I've had everything else, and we can go into that, man. I'm telling you, man. 36 years old. I've never went on a job interview in my life, and from black Amex to houses and cars, I gave all that up to pursue a dream. You know what I mean? And luckily, I found like the incredible balance and business partner with Rich because he already had this vision. And then we kind of aligned our vision together, and it's twice as powerful. So if you can find someone that like I said, there's at least going to be a handful of people that are into what you're doing. Whether it's you want to go teach mountain climbing, like there's a market for it. And with the internet, that's a powerful thing. But spend your time focused on that, And if you can find someone that you really develop a relationship with that is either a balance to what you're doing or is on that same frequency and has the same vision and just never look back, Now, and I would say that, it's just advice,
Since you brought it up, tell me about the balance and tell me how you came into business with your partner. His name's Brian?
Rich.
Oh, where did I come up with Brian? Tell
Way
me.
Off.
My business partner's named Brian. I don't know.
There we go. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, I worked in Cancun and I was working on spring break, and
you were working.
Yeah. So I had about 80 staff members for the company that I worked with, and let's say, 55 were American and 35 were Mexican local, right?
Yes.
The whole thing. So we did the entertainment side, partnered with MTV 7 years. Company was incredible.
And what did
really
you do? What was the?
So here's we did all the. If you think of college spring break, we sold and operated 50,000. We took 50,000 students, high school and college, a year to 17 destinations. Scheduled their flights out of 26 departure cities. Worked with every hotel, restaurant, club. We booked 183 performing artists, major brands, all to provide an experience, right? So it was an incredible experience. I started as a high school rep and worked my way up to director of outside sales and director of the Cancun program, which was like my baby, right? So we traveled people through hurricanes, cartels, everything you can think of. We've seen it. So what I was doing is I was hiring friends of mine that were kind of like just out of college that, maybe didn't have a job yet. And I'm like, well, just come down to Cancun. I'll pay for your flight. The company will pay for your meals. You'll get a per diem. You get all you can drink every night you're not working. All your meals are covered at all the best restaurants, and you're going to get paid to do it. And it's basically like you're going to be with 35 staff, guys and girls that are the same age and like-minded. And we're going to be, reps for all the college kids that are on spring break, right? And I knew that because that's how I traveled, and I sold all my trips and did it that way too. So, so I would hire staff members. One of the staff members I hired, who I still talk to today, I hired when I hired him for his first job there. He worked on site for me. He knew how much I love the beach and sunglasses, and was a lifeguard down the shore in Ocean City and LBI, and I surf and travel. I'm always outside, and I grew up around the beach, and he knew my affinity towards sunglasses, right? So fast forward, new company, I'm working in beverage, and I'm managing director for a beverage portfolio. We had all the, energy drinks, iced teas, all this stuff, right? So I hired him there again. He walks in my office one day, and this is like one thing we always stuck by, no matter who it was, if it was Evan when I was at Student City, or, if I was at, the beverage companies, like what we always told ourselves is like, when the day becomes not fun is the day that you have to leave and find something else, right? That was always what we lived by, right? It's like your parents saying, find something you like to do and find someone to pay you for it. So being entrepreneurial, what I always said is like, if it's not fun, you got to leave. He walked into my office. He's like, there's this company, this sunglass company called Dick's Cottons. I don't know why, but I think like this is like 100% you. I went online, bought a pair immediately, right? I still have that pair, 2010 brown ice. I still have them to this day, but it came with this little business card. And it was like an 8-point, maybe an 8.6-point font. And it was Rich, my business partner, and had this message about be happy, live comfortably, and this like kind of ideology about, the way, you should spend time with your friends and enjoy life, right? So almost like a life is good before like our brand, and
Yes.
had this really dope Stickman logo, which is like universal. The shades were unisex.
I love your logo. I love your logo, by the way.
Thank you. Wow, that's all Rich. I mean, he came up with that, and so I identify with it. But the reason I identified it with is because there's no brand even to this day that really speaks to our generation in that sense. Like, that basically is like, it came at a time when like everyone was so focused on, I got to spend 80 hours working. This is before the Tim Ferriss of the world, right? And the innovators and the people do things differently. And I really connected with it. It was like, life's all, I was selling energy drinks. So, I mean, think about it. I wasn't sleeping at all, and 4 years had gone by.
You were using too?
Yeah, seriously. So it's like 2 hours up and back to North Jersey every day in a car that gets 13 miles to the gallon. Gas prices were crazy. It's like, man, enough's enough, right? And we've all gone through that in one way, regard or another. But he gave me this thing. I got the sunglasses. I got this message. And I was like, I just had this like tap on my shoulders, like, you got to get in touch with Rich. So I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. We laugh because Rich is like, dude, I don't even use LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
So I met up with him, went to New York City. He was living in East Village. I went to this dope little restaurant.
How did you? What did he finally respond to you on?
I just hit. I don't know if I just threw up all over the keyboard, but I was like, dude, I have so many ideas. I love the brand. I think there's so much I can add value to it, right? And this is really important. Okay, so we meet, and we're at Peel's. We're upstairs. We're eating lunch, and we find out that like, we have like mutual friends, right? That are like 6 degrees of separation, right? And so it kind of got this comfort level there. It's like, okay, there's no wrong intention in this meeting. Like, and what I mean by that is like, when Rich and I started talking, the beginning of our relationship, and to this day, it's never been about how much money are we going to make, or how much am I going to get paid? Well, I don't think we even talked about that for 2 years. It was like
no percentage, like how much.
No, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
No title, no nothing. It was like we both had the same thing. Rich, in his own regard, he had hunted high and low for high quality sunglasses at an affordable price. He loved like the idea and the styles of like, let's say the convenience of Starbucks and styles of Sunoco, but like. And we also like the high end shades, but there was not, and quality wise, but there's nothing in between, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I was the same way. I would love a good road trip down the shore with my friends, stop, get some crazy shades, party, have fun, right? And I also love the high end brands because there's no middle shelf. It just didn't exist, right? Unless you went into like surfing or like, fit into a category, right? There's nothing universal. And that's really what the Stickman represented. So, that was profound. So it was never about any of that. We were 100% like just focused on the mission, the position, and the vision. 100%, and still are to this day.
Position, vision.
That's it. So, and it's really cool, and that's what real passion is. It wasn't like you'll find a way. Like it was, I don't know, it just doesn't come up. It's the strangest thing.
You guys just clicked.
Yeah, we clicked, and I was like, I have all these ideas, and look, things move slow. And Rich and I used to joke, like everything we wanted to do, we were always 3 months behind or like a year behind. And when we came to this opportunity here, it was all about being first to market, but being best to market at the same time. We'll get into being a perfectionist later, but it was really crucial to get Kickstarter up and be the first to market and put that flag in the sand.
Was there a part of him, do you know, that was sort of that was a little skeptical of, who's this guy reaching out to me that wants to partner with my company, and what would you say it was that made him trust you and trust?
Dude, 100. I can answer this straight up, right off the top of my head. Is I had that idea, and that was like my own like insecurity maybe at the time.
Yeah, of course.
Like, because I think the only article online at that was like it was like 25 million and counting or something. So I'm thinking the business is worth like $25 million. I'm going to go meet with this guy. I don't even know his age. I don't know anything, right? So I kind of find Rich. I'm talking to him, and I'm like, that was my own insecurity. But what Rich said to me was, I've been looking for someone like you this whole time. This is like the perfect balance.
Sounds like
this is everything I need.
Notebook or something.
It was like everything Rich brought to the table was so incredible. Think about what he accomplished, right?
Yeah, on his own.
And then it was like, how can I, how can we take that further together? And that's all it was. Is like everything that he, that I do, we just complemented each other in that sense. And it was a really slow start. It was, this is before having like usable images even for the brand,
Yeah.
and this is 5 years ago. So this is really from where it started. And a quick story on that is Rich, like I said, he's living in New York, East Village. He went to UNC, Chapel Hill, right? And he's doing commercial real estate. And at the same time, like I had the same issue going on with my position and where I was. I could have had all the money in the world, the G-Wagons, cars, it doesn't matter, right? I wasn't spending any time with my friends. My 5Fs were out of place, right? So he's going through the same thing. So he's selling commercial real estate for someone really prominent in the city. And he just wasn't spending time. He would dip out on happy hours to sell a property, right? So he literally quit his job, grabbed his closest group of friends. They booked a trip on to Croatia on a yacht, right? So they're on a yacht in Croatia sailing in the Adriatic Sea. They go to this dope beach party. His first pair of sunglasses are sketched right there, right? So that's really like he just up and left. He ended up taking classes at FIT at night, and he's learning design, making relationships, and all this stuff, right? But come to find out, the craziest coincidence between Rich and I is that we're both kind of have like this warrior DNA, because Rich's grandfather, Papa Dick, is who Dick's Cottons is named after. Cotton meaning comfortable, versatile, be happy, live comfortably, right? So Dick's Cottons. I think we had an apostrophe at one time, but Dick's Sporting Goods wants to take that away from us, so we just rolled with it, right?
Yeah.
But it had a funny name. It was enough to catch make people like think twice and never forget you, right?
That think twice element is so important. People ask me, even when I was like talking about doing the podcast with you and people wanted to the name. People were like, "Hey, I didn't really know."
Man, think about some of my Philly friends like, "Yo, you want me to wear dicks on my face?" Like, and that was like a joke back then, but now it's not a joke. You know what I mean? It's like if you're not wearing them, you're not in. And that's without knowing the backstory. So Rich's grandfather, Papa Dick, right?
Yeah,
this legendary dude. He designed eyewear in World War II in the Korean conflict, right?
So there's some real meat to the story here.
Yeah, he's making aviators for pilots, right? So he's doing that. Then Papa Dick was in Boston, Cape Cod, he was an optometrist for 40 years. He was a man about town, legendary traveler, like words of wisdom, like just like my grandma would be, right? But at the same time, my grandfather was a pilot in the Korean conflict. So little do we know, my grandfather is probably wearing the same sunglasses that his grandfather designed as a pilot in World War II. So I think we're like, we have a legacy to uphold. So that's why the brand's so much more important. Is like, we can't let a family legacy down on either end. And that's why I think it's
Yeah,
another thing that's made us successful is like, they literally went to war. Like, so if it's a war on sunglasses, we're kind of, that's where our war is, you know?
that's badass, man.
Thanks.
Now, tell me more about the balance between you and Rich. If you could give the 30 seconds what he brings to the
Yeah.
table as opposed to what you bring to the table.
Yeah. So Rich is a well thought out, a very, not reactive, but proactive, brilliant, thinker. He sees design very differently than I think everything else is being designed. And one of the first things I noticed is that the styles that he was designing and still designs are usually about a year and a half ahead of what a major brand will put out. So he'll put out a pair of shades, and then a year and a half later, that style will be like a trending style in all the fashion weeks in like Paris and Milan. It's like, so he has this like innate ability to kind of, he's like that gun that can see around the corner, from a style perspective. But then he's also like, he's a good complement of energy. I think I could throw an idea out, and Rich is the guy that can like help make it happen. Like, where it wouldn't have happened either way for either of us if we weren't together. You know what I mean?
It's important to find that synergy with someone, man. Like there's certain people that are just, it's not that they're bad people. It's just they're on a different wavelength with you, and it's like things don't click. Whether you're
it's like dating though, man. Like, you're not gonna find a girl in the club. Like, you're gonna find her when you're like shopping for vegetables at the produce section at the grocery store. Like, we weren't looking to like find a balance. It just, when you weren't looking, it hit.
Yeah. That's cool, man. And you spoke a little bit about the because I want to remember it. Your idiosyncrasies of your day.
Yeah.
Can you tell me kind of how you start your day? What does the first 2 hours of your day look like?
All right.
And on top of that,
Yeah.
when you do your visualizations, are you visualizing your day, your week, your month, your life? Are you looking at yourself when you're 80 years old on your front porch, thinking about what you're seeing, looking back? I kind of want to touch all those things.
All right. So first, the day, no 2 days are the same. So that's number one.
Okay.
And I'll go through that. Visualization, real quickly, is that, I'm going to talk about jujitsu for a second, but this isn't long-term goal stuff. This is literally like how to fight your way or see your way clear through, could be a conversation on an email, conference call, or how to design something or find, inspiration. So it's more visualization in that sense.
So like navigating your moments.
Yeah. So I'm going to start in the reverse for my day. So knowing that 2 days are the same, the only one constant is that, I noticed recently, this is before the New Year's resolution, this is going to be a crazy story real quick, but I was reading bedtime stories to my daughter, right? And I found myself skipping lines in the book, just hurrying through it to get her to go to sleep. And, having my phone buzz in my pocket, checking that real quick, make sure the light's not too bright to wake her up. Like, and I stopped one day and I was just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're never going to be able to have her this young ever again. So what I did is like, I shut the phone, I shut everything off for these like precious time, this moment I have with her, right? So now I look forward to every day. It's like a got to mentality. It's not like I got to read her a book, I get to read her a book.
Yeah.
So now that time that I have with her, I look forward to every day more than anything. It's like, no matter what, it's like in Goodfellas when you always went home to cook his son breakfast on Saturdays.
Uh-huh.
It was like that. It's like I literally gravitate towards what I can teach her, and if you get on the same frequency as a child, right? There's this point where both your heart rates kind of slow down, and you reach like the same frequency, and that's the time when your daughter or your son opens up to you and will say something totally out of the blue in the middle of the book, like, "Daddy, I want to know about this," or "Tell me this," or "I did this today." And you're like, it's this moment that you can't really explain. So that's how my night is, right? So that gives me all the inspiration once she's in bed to go back to work till 2 a.m, right? And it gives me enough reason. I gotta leave a legacy with her, and now my son, right? So that time with my wife and my family and eat. My wife's Italian, so we eat dinner together. We got that little routine down. At least for that, those like 2 hours are like they're priceless, right? So that's my day. So entrepreneur, I wake up when I'm done sleeping, and if I use an alarm clock, I use Sleep Cycle. It's this dope app that wakes you up when you're at your most rested point, not like in a deep sleep. You got to check it out. It's a dope app, but it'll help you.
Say what it
It's
is.
called Sleep Cycle, but it like you sleep in like different like zones. So your alarm clock goes off and you're in a deep sleep. You're gonna wake up groggy as fuck, right? So if you use Sleep Cycle, it'll wake you up when you're at like your most awake point, even if it's in a deep sleep, and it really helps. So if I use an alarm clock, I use Sleep Cycle.
So it's not like all abrasive like your iPhone.
I'm really into my routine, and like I have to. I love coffee in the morning. If I don't start my day off with coffee, Bob Marley reggae music, and a mellow atmosphere, and wake up slow.
What Bob Marley song?
Man, I have everything. I don't even know. I mean, I can tell you.
Three Little Birds is my day starter song. I don't think there's another song.
That's such a good jump off, man. I'm telling you.
Yo, do you know he runs that same verse back 3 times in a row? Like that's the song. It's verse, hook, verse, hook, verse, hook. And
I think that's why my daughter loves it so much. We don't listen to anything on the bike. We're not allowed to listen to anything but Bob Marley. If I'm playing in the morning and someone comes in, she's like, "Who's this?" She's like, "Bob Marley." She loves Three Little Birds.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so we even had the nursery jingles, just like all instrumental when she was a baby. But yeah, we listen to that. I like a lot of his like his original stuff, like This Feeling, the song he did with Rita with his wife at the time, like is really dope. I'll have to send that to you.
Cool. I'll put that in the show notes for the individuals listening.
Yeah. So here's the other thing I do. So it's like the 3 gratitudes, and then the one thing you're really happy you accomplished, like at the end of the day. But then
the gratitudes.
I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my daughter. I'm grateful to live on the lake before we move to the new place. Right.
Now I'm going to interject just because that's actually part of my routine. And,
love that, bro.
And as you do it, it becomes sort of an equipment that you can carry with you throughout the day. So I'll be sitting in, at first it's sort of hard. You got to train yourself to do it, but then I'll be sitting in a waiting room, and I'll be anxious because I'm waiting 5 minutes longer, and then I'll be like, wait. I'm grateful that there is an establishment the way that whatever it's a chiropractor. I'm grateful for the college he went to get his education. Like there's little random things that you forget to remember.
Dude, people take things for granted too. Like surfing. Like man, if someone didn't cut down a tree one day, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things. But here's the thing about it's not just about being grateful, but when you look back at like the gratitudes. What it does for you is if you wake up a certain way, and then if what gets you in a good mood is coffee, Bob Marley, and whatever, like
coffee, Bob Marley, gratitude.
Right. So you start with that, but what it does is it gives you the ability to anticipate. So you already set your day up a certain way, so you're anticipating that your day's gonna be a certain way, rather than getting woken up by someone yelling, a door slamming, whatever it is, So your anticipation enhances your well-being and your optimism throughout the day, right? So you're going to get stressed, that's for sure. But if you look at stress, like you just said, it makes you social, and you use stress to change the way you think and how you think about things.
Mm-hmm. You have a positive interpretation of the stress when it hits you.
Dude, absolutely. So you just have to look at it like you're doing. And maybe it's optimism, maybe it's not. But, that's kind of like the day, the routine. I get my bulldog, Bully. We either take the beach cruiser, skateboard, or car, or walk to the office about a block and a half away. Bully goes ballistic when he sees Rich, and
Bully's your bulldog?
Yeah, he's the man, bro. And, he's like our office mascot. So he likes to come to work and be with the boys and not the girls at home, and we do that. Then we start digging into each thing. And one of the things we try to do from time perspective is, if there's something that can be done when we're not together, like an email, we do that when we're not together. Like while I'm reading books, Rich is email. While Rich is doing CrossFit, I'm catching up on my, contacts. But if while we're together, we use that time to design, to like scope out the future.
Yes.
So,
Now,
that
what
all
books are you
clicks, right?
reading?
So it's funny you say that. So, as far as reading books, I read right now, reading, it's The Life of Buddha.
Word.
Okay. So, it's dope, especially if you're waking up on that frequency and that vibe.
Do you meditate?
I do. I would almost describe myself like I'm a Christian Buddhist Rastafarian with the political views of SEAL Team 6.
Hey man, that's a solid combination.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to have a little bit of all, but like, so I'm reading Buddha. Obviously, no bullshit. I mean, you can learn so much from a children's book. It's like everything you need to know you learned in the sandbox type of stuff.
Yeah, man, that's where it's the simplest. That's where there's not tons of fluff cutting away at the story.
It's incredible. It's not just having kids and all that. I mean, people know, they don't. But there's some stuff in the simplicity of those books that you're just like, I was like, dude, I used to read Where the Wild Things Are when I was a kid. It's crazy.
And the wonder and excitement and curiosity that a 4-year-old can have on the world. Why don't we say hi to every single person that walks down the street?
Yeah, but knowing what you know, right, Tom? Like knowing what you know, and then you're reading a book to a kid, so you already have all this experience. So it's like now it becomes like how you read it. Like how can you like pique their interest to see like the fish in the book a different way, or look at it as like art, or like there's all these like angles you can take with your kids, and it's really cool because it's not pushy, and that creates a lot of confidence in you as a parent. They'll always look to you for guidance, early on.
Well, I don't have any kids yet. We'll hold off.
Yeah,
but still,
yeah.
I'm gonna check in with you when that time comes.
Yeah, but right now I'm reading Buddha. I guess quote unquote religiously, but I've read it a few times. But
if there was a book that you would gift someone tomorrow,
yep.
there's an 18-year-old kid that just graduated. What would you gift that 18-year-old?
100%. It's this kid's book actually. It's called There's Only One You, right?
Love that.
And when you open the inside cover, it's like this collage of like all these positive statements, right? And I won't tell you what the story is about or anything, but it's like it's so crazy because you're expecting to read a children's book, and it talks about art and about standing out but blending in when you need to, and it's like the dopest thing. It's about this like little fish and his parents, right? And like the kid ends up getting it at the end of the book, but it's really cool, and it talks about like really about making the world a better place, as an individual. It's a dope book. I don't know why. I try to read the inside cover before my daughter makes me jump ahead, but it's got all these like positive like one-liners that like before you're going to bed or going back to work, you're like, wow, man.
Yeah, it's almost like
cool.
a little breath of fresh air, fresh life
Yep.
to like bring you into your next segment of the day.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm going to circle back real fast, all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is all fantastic. I love the direction that we've went. I want to know more about the Kickstarter movement. So,
Okay.
like, you and Rich, you're sitting there, 6 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, you say, you know what? For the next stage of the game, we're going to use Kickstarter as our platform to supercharge this bad boy.
Right.
What's the next step that you take? How do you get from idea to go to Kickstarter to raising $300,000?
All right. So there's a little like synergy here. Is like, first you got to do a lot of research, right? But you also, we're guilty sometimes as entrepreneurs as doing too much research. We look at the past 5 years with Dick's Cottons that led us to this as research, and we got an MBA and, from Harvard in sunglasses, that we learned on our own and from others. Right. But I think first is researching, how to do it or how to align how to do it with what your vision is. Right. Because it's way easier said than done. And then the other thing is, aside from over researching or as being a perfectionist, is like you got to just birth the baby, right? And as an entrepreneur, this is one thing that I say is paramount: is that done is better than perfect sometimes.
Start before you're ready.
Yeah, just exactly. Exactly. So done is better than perfect is what, being first to market is going to be a hell of a lot better than looking in the mirror and be like, wow, it's like Zuckerberg. It's like, if you were the one to create Facebook, you would have created Facebook, right? So, man, time's not sleeping, and there's other people that are hungry, and in a blink of an eye, any one of these major companies could have done what we did, and the Dollar Shave Club, the Ubers of the world, and I'm not comparing ourselves to those, but they're relevant examples that someone took action on an idea, So we did the research for Kickstarter. It's really, I would look at it like this. Kickstarter is such a unique platform. I'll tell you, I didn't even realize this, but I'm a huge fan of Nike, one of my best relationships, and I bought this watch that housed like the iPod Nano when it came out, and it was Scott Wilson, this designer from Nike, that launched this project on Kickstarter. I bought this. The watch came like 6 months later. I had no idea until I launched the Kickstarter when I logged in. It's like, oh, you've backed one project. I didn't even know. I just was so into this watch. I didn't even know I was buying it on Kickstarter at the time, right? So I think, what we did is we looked at a lot of Kickstarter projects, looked at a lot of like the vision that we had, and then we looked at like, how can we communicate this? And I'll tell you what, no lie, the day before we were supposed to launch it, I called talented guy who did our video, Alex, and was like, Alex, I'm changing the whole script. We're just changing the voiceover. I'm changing the whole video. Everything we shot, it's garbage. We got to redo it. And he's like, he kind of calmed me down as a friend and was just like, dude, people are going to flip. It's mental. They're going to love it. Don't change a thing, But as a perfectionist, like, I must have a stack of papers literally up to my waist of scripts that Rich and I wrote. If you started sunglasses with a blank slate, that's how we looked at it. How would you do it? So it wasn't just, all right, we got the sunglasses are better or as good or better, right? Handmade, quality, made at the same factory as like sunglasses. Our $75 handmade sell for $400 from a major brand that a lot of people wear. I'll tell you that much. Same exact quality, but even maybe a fresher design, right? A different design, in our opinion, fresher, right? You got the process. The reason we went on Kickstarter and the reason we went with the subscription business, we didn't wake up and be like, hey, let's make a ton of money and go into subscription model because it's booming right now. Our customers own 27 pairs, a piece. And it's like, how can we take this a step further? And instead of them paying $50 a pair, get it to $20 a pair. And the way that we can do that was through subscription because we can buy in bulk and we can end up, through buying in bulk, from a basic business kind of like ideology was that, is kind of, I guess what we would say is your cost per unit gets smaller, your market cap gets bigger. But, I think when you look at it, we changed the way that you think about it. The other thing that sucks, in my opinion, is the process. Like, I love shopping as much as the next person, but going to the mall, fighting for parking space, walking to find the sunglass store, going in there, waiting in line, waiting for someone to unlock the vault, right? They're locked up.
And then you try them on, and you get so dizzy by the end of like trying them on, you don't even know what you're wearing anymore.
100%. And then they're sitting there looking at you like you look good. Yeah, of course, they're $380. Of course, you're gonna tell me I look good in them, right?
Yeah,
or if you're lucky to get them off their cell phone. What's that?
I'm just talking shit. But no, you're right. Like the if I ever have to go to a mall again in my life, I'll be a happy human being.
Dude, absolutely. And you know what? Like it's like going to the movies used to be fun. You know that. It's like now it can be distracting. I mean, that's why it's even easier to go by yourself. But like times have changed, I guess, overall. And what we said is like, dude, what would be the best experience? Like if you could wake up every month without fail and have something to look forward to, and meanwhile have dope shades, accessorize, having like it's like women when times were rough, like when you go through a recession, women used to buy lipstick. Because and that's what they called a lipstick indicator, because women would buy different shades of lipstick or they would buy the handbag rather than owning all of Louis Vuitton's luggage and living a Louis Vuitton lifestyle. So it's like it's a new indicator, and it also helps enhance your existing wardrobe, like times however many pairs of sunglasses you can mix and match with, right? So it's now a valid accessory. So then the process is better. It's delivered right to your door every month. And not to pitch the product or the business, but any business you think about, think about how you can make it better, what's disruptive, and then what we're working on right now is being super mobile friendly, knowing that mobile is going to outtrend desktop this year, and make everything at a push of a button.
Yeah.
And you know,
So
that's really where we're scaling.
so you know, like you know, as far as products goes, for the most part, everything's been done in some way, shape, or form.
Right,
But your model, everything that you do, it seems like you ask, okay, how can we deliver this in our unique way? How can
right,
we make this experience different than them going to Sunglass Hut? And so
yeah.
that's where your product becomes a different experience.
Yeah, and that's what it happened in Cancun when I used to give the briefing speech to, like, you know, busloads of kids that were coming in, they're going to go on their party package. I used to take like the best of, you know, Joe, my mentor's speech that he used to do on the bus, and then like take the best joke from Brian's like pitch, and then I would put my own flavor in it. And I think it's all about like looking at how you can increase the experience for people, you know, through like, I guess, you know, my acronym from life, which is funny when I tell you that I got it from Saigon, you know, the rapper.
Yeah.
But it's learning it from experience, you know. So it's kind of just taking your perspective and like just
Learning, learn,
learning it from an
yeah,
experience, learning it from experience,
learning
life.
by doing, learning by,
Yeah.
yeah, by going through it.
So that was it. So it's like I've been to the mall. At the end of the day, Rich and I are the end consumer. You know, we were the guys that were looking for these sunglasses. We like traveling, good stories with friends, you know, whether it's a beach party, a house party, just like it's you. I know you, right? So we're the end user at the end of the day. So we've been through those pain points. We've broken shades, and we hear about it, you know, tenfold from our consumers. And the stuff that people don't see, I think, is what would be most surprising is that it's a text message from someone saying like, how thankful they are for what we're doing and
Hmm.
the connections and the relationships that we meant. You know, so that's it.
There's a sense of confidence too that, and I'm not selling your product. I don't even have any of it, but I used to. I
I
used
need
to.
to. I'm
I
writing this down right now to
you
send
need,
you some shades.
yeah, look at you. And I want to get into that too about how you keep relationships and you make people happy. Because I remember like when we were shooting a video a couple years ago. I don't even know where it came. You guys had like a Dick's Cotton's Angel just like drop them upon our video shoot. It was like raining. Like everyone had an opportunity
You were
to
one of
rent
the
us. Like,
first people to drop them in the video, man.
yeah, man.
I love it.
I remember, yeah, but you were on top of it though. Like it was like as soon as it dropped, like yo, you created a conversation about it, and we felt appreciated, and like even though we were just like some little kids off the block, and it was a cool moment.
Dude, your
But
vibe was no. You're selling yourself short, man. I know who's complimented you on your musical talents, so don't forget that. You know.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I will say that you know with the brand that you're delivering, you know, what's your the tagline again? The live.
Be happy, live comfortably.
Be happy, live comfortably. There's also a sense of when you wear shades, you know, there's a sense of confidence and sureness that comes with them. You know, there's
Oh
a
my God, dude.
and that's like the unspoken thing about what your brands also bringing to the table. Everyone each month, part of the subscription model is getting like a new way to express their confidence.
Yeah, well, we like, you know, we start like to create like a meaningful relationship with a customer. Like, we don't have a customer service policy. Like, well, what if I break? Like, we deal everything case by case because it's not a situation, it's not an issue. It's a solution. It's an opportunity to connect with somebody. Oh, where'd you go to school? Where are you from? Like, it's so crazy. It started as a friends of friends brand. My friends down the beach, Rich's friends in Cape Cod, you know, grilling out on 4th of July, right? So when it comes to the sunglasses and the brand and identifying with that is that, you know, a lot of people can identify with like how much value there is. Dude, at the end of the day, it's so much more fun to go kick it with your friends than it is to sit in an office all day. Now, it's necessary evil. You got to pay the bills, but you know, if we get someone to go to happy hour one more day a week or take an impromptu road trip or plan a vacation for themselves, like, you know, that's a huge success in us. And I'll tell you, it's our customers that made the company a brand because they ended up taking their sunglasses on all the major trips and travel they were going to. So, you know, right now, 65 plus countries, 50 states, right? You're looking at people taking pictures at the Eiffel Tower or, you know, in Egypt in front of pyramids or, you know, Geno's. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
no,
know,
no.
so So it's like all these like things. So it's like Johnny Cash is like, I've been everywhere, man. Like our shade, the stick man's seen the best views of all, man. He's seen it all.
Yo, man, I wanna peer through the world as Stickman one of these days, man.
Dude.
That's a video. That's a video right there. Like,
Oh, I gotta get you to do the treatment on that
yeah,
one.
cool. I'll come
It's
up with
like,
it. I'll come up with it.
the other thing I would tell you just is like what we did differently is, we both are. Rich's great grandfather actually discovered the South Pole, and like
What?
yeah. So like, there's some really cool things. Like my great grandfather like designed Princeton Library, the Roundhouse in Philly, like architect and design and stuff. So like, we're both explorers by nature, right? And through our bloodline, but like not like things were ever handed to us. Like I told you how I grew up, So, but the thing is like we always think that like traveling gave you this better perspective, or time stood still, or you're just at your happiest point, and it's what we saw. And I don't know if it's travel or just escaping from the daily grind. So you could be on a rooftop in New York City and look out, put your shades on, and you see the world differently. You may see a beach, you may see opportunity, whatever it is. So it's kind of like that vision with the brand, but there's no sunglasses brand, that you can really say identifies with travel. So what we started doing is Rich and I started traveling, going to Cancun on spring break, or going to Costa Rica on a surf trip, or, going down to anywhere, right? All of our shades are named after a different destination, and then what we started doing is adding inspirational quotes on them. And what you said was really paramount, right? Is like, you feel a certain confidence when you put sunglasses on. This is like the untold thing about Dick's Cottons, is that, and we should kind of like bottle it and caption it, but every person who buys our sunglasses, it's like our guarantee should be that within the first 24 hours of wearing your sunglasses outside, you're going to get a compliment. That's what we hear is like, oh my God, I got so many compliments on my sunglasses. No one's ever complimented me on my sunglasses before. And it's like this gravity-like effect, but I think it's half the designs and having the balls to do what other companies don't do from a design perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, a lot in credit to Rich and what I do with him in collaboration with design, but I also think the other thing is that when you feel good, you feel like you look good. It's like an inner confidence. So it's like, if you feel good wearing your shades and you're happy and you're comfortable, you like put out this confidence and this vibe and this energy to the world, where you're just set up to receive all this energy and compliments. It's like walking into Wawa where people hold the door for you.
All right. So for anyone who's listening to this podcast and they're thinking that they want to discover Dick's Cottons, what do you want to tell them, and where do you want to send them to check out the brand?
The first thing I would tell them to do is first go to our Instagram and just get a feel for it at Dick's Cottons on Instagram, and just scroll through and enjoy the visual inspiration you're going to get, and seeing what other people do and in their shades and what they're able to do in their shades, and not less, are these going to fit me? Just trust that we're going to make them so you're happy and comfortable, and everything is made to fit, 100%. So I would say go get a feel for the company, for Dick's Cottons. See what goes into each pair. We just got our new aviators and yacht masters in, so we'll be dropping those soon. But then I would go to Shades Club, which you could take a look at our Kickstarter. It ended, and we just launched, which is awesome for the timing of this podcast. Is we just launched on Indiegogo to give people another opportunity for another 30 days to get in on Shades Club right now before our website launches and the prices are a little more, and just be like that early adopter. So if you go to Indiegogo, search Shades Club sunglasses, you can still get Shades Club, and you'll actually get your box, with everyone else who supported our Kickstarter. So, and our website will be launching soon on shadesclub.com.
So tell me about the packaging. What is this person, if they order a subscription, what's going to show up at the door? And this isn't more so like selling the brand.
Yeah.
No,
this is experience.
I love the way things are presented when they show up at your door. Now, what are they going to get? What's it going to look like? If you can describe it.
Yeah. So it's basically, what we have is a big, bright yellow box of sunshine. It says Shades Club. It's all branded. It's really premium, and we did that on purpose. Everything was by design, not decoration. And when you open the box, it's going to be experience. There's going to be things we'll leave to the imagination. But you'll get the sense of like they're stylish, they're convenient, and they're fun. And then what's really cool is how it's displayed inside the box. It's this like delivery of like this case, which used to be this bulky big case. You open it up, we got some really, really, really incredible printed on the inside of the case that no one's seen yet. And it's going to make you feel like it's the best day of your life every time you get a new Shades Club package delivered to your doorstep, right? But when you open this case up, you got your microfiber bag, it cleans your lenses. It's great to take care of your shades. And then the case itself folds up to the size of an iPhone. So girls can use it as a clutch off the beach. It fits in your purse or pocket. Guys, don't want to carry that big clamshell case around. It slips right in, fit in your skinny jeans, won't bend like the iPhone, all those good things, and then, you have your shades, which are the feature, and each month we're hand selecting the best style of that month, and working really, really incredibly hard to make sure that we're delivering the best product. We coined it as the ultimate sunglass experience, but it should feel like an experience and every time. But the value is, when I say it's a $150 pair of our sunglasses, that means it's a $400 pair of brand X's that you're already paying for. So the value is incredible, and it should be fun. At the end of the day, it should make you want to open them up, see an inspirational quote, go outside and put out positive vibes and get compliments in return.
Cool. Now, coming up with the whole presentation of that, is that a task that you and Rich tackled together, or do you call in other parties to help create
No,
that?
Rich and I, from whether it's the packaging for Shades Club, the actual sunglasses, we design everything from scratch. We sketch, mock up, send out, get samples, product test them, take them in the ocean, take them on a road trip, take
It's
them
you
on a
guys.
trip. We do everything from start to finish, and then we perfect it and then have the best finished product, and we really love that process. And what we're building a business to is, if we can do, and only two things we want to do with the business are design and handle our customers. Everything else, someone else can help us with.
So, do you have anyone else on your team that's on payroll?
Yeah, no. I have an intern that beat down my door at career day at the Hill School, Kaveen, who's incredible. He's going to be in our company in a big way once he's a freshman in college, and we've had some help along the way.
Is he on site, or is he?
No, he's at Elon. He's holding it down, but he doesn't sleep either, man. But he's really good, and we got some really cool plans for the future, man. We're working on this 100% biodegradable, eco-friendly glasses and really cool stuff, man.
I think it's really cool to know that with two guys like Ingenuity, you don't need a staff of 25 people to build a presence the way that you have. And I want to ask you a personal question about a next stage in my company. I have a clothing line called Honey John University,
Which I love.
And thank you. And it started out as a very much a hobby. I'm making these videos, I'm putting them out, and I like the collegiate look of clothes, so I made up a fake school, put it on, and through social media, people started asking for it. So it was a hobby that turned into a nice little side source of income. And now, through demand, through just the fact that like I can't stop getting requests for it, I as much as my heart and soul is in creating content, that's inspiring people to be the true versions of themselves. But I can't wake up one day without an email about someone requesting some new Honey John gear, or walking down the street, hey, when are you going to get this style, and when are you going to do these types of things? So people are asking for it, and it's just something that like I can't, like I gotta give love to. So in the work that I'm doing, I decided to bring on two trusted partners. So a guy that's going to help me with the marketing aspects, and a guy that's going to help me with like the business operations side of things. And I'm gonna post up and still do the creatives. So we're gonna relaunch our brand, and we're gonna relaunch it in a minimalist way with a new message, like not a new message, but a focused message. So like, and I really want to do something to make it clear to our supporters, to our community that we've built so far, that, hey guys, listen, this is no longer a side hobby. This is something that you can count on and you can trust, and it'll be dependable. What would you advise me moving forward to make that transition?
Well, I love everything you're talking about. I love the brand too. P.S. My navy blue hoodie doesn't fit me anymore, so I'm in need of your brand now as
Okay,
well.
we'll exchange. We'll even exchange.
So no, it's all good. And my wife still rocks her stuff, so that's what's up. But I especially love what you did with taking, terminology with the brand and connecting it to a market. That's the same thing I can relate to, with like the word John, and where we come from. So I think there's three things, like, number one, you don't need any validation. You already just told me it's no longer a hobby. You took on partners. That was the first step, is like never looking in that rear view and just going forward. And then it becomes less about, I got an email about this, or that get to, got to mentality. You're now in a position, like we are with Kickstarter, like we're in a position where we can't do anything but find out how to, we've already getting hit up by investors or Series A or, all this stuff. We're in a position where we have a responsibility to people, just like you do, with people saying that I can't wait for this part to drop, this line. Why don't you do this? I need more of this Honey John University line in my life, right? So you're this responsibility now to people where they're depending on you to deliver. So first is making that commitment that it's no longer a hobby and I'm going to go full steam. And you just got to be ready. Like you already know you are. You're past like the initial stage, but 5 years at Dick's Cottons and with Shades Club or whatever is way different than year one. But you're so passionate about creating stuff and doing it your way. Just focus on that, but the first things I would tell you to do, or what I would do if you were going to say, hey, what should I do? I would tell you without a doubt is to fly down to Florida, on Spirit, under $200, come with me to Gracie Baja, where I train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Have you roll with some of the boys and the teammates, and in that hour or so, you won't need my help ever again. And like with Jiu-Jitsu, there's like the Jiu-Jitsu world and like the regular world, but I believe that, you learn to think your way through challenges and find comfort in knowing that there's always an escape for everything. And you learn to really insist on your actions and follow your instincts. And first of all, that'd be super dope if you came down and you always have a place to stay. But I think that's something, is putting yourself, I wouldn't talk to you about your brand. Like you do what you do, and I already know that. I would take you out of your element and put you in a place that's really uncomfortable where you're getting choked, and have you find a way and teach you and help you see your way clear. And I'm telling you, you'll walk out of there so calm, like you just did yoga for like 3 days straight. And there's nothing that's going to come up with your brand or something that you're not going to find a solution for. So that's number one. Number two is already commit to it. And, three, you have a responsibility, man. And, the only other thing I would suggest is call me, because I'd love to be, hey, at least do your first collab and put it on Dick's Cottons and put it out to our market. Do something real wavy with some type of Aloha hoodie or something that's not out there.
My man, man, that was golden. That was golden advice, and I did not see that coming.
I knew you didn't. I worked so hard to think about that one.
I did not see that coming, and I was just like, he's gonna tell me something technical, but you didn't, man. And I like that. That's like the
that was the one thing I wanted you to ask me so badly.
It's like the Native American chief putting his arm around like the youth and sending him out to like fight the fox and then coming back alive.
Yeah, like coming back with like the wolf on your back.
Yeah. I love it, man. And all right, so cool. Let's wrap it up with some rapid fire. Cool. And I'm gonna finish my Chipotle and we're gonna call it a podcast, man. I appreciate the time that we spent here. So all right, so rapid fire.
Yep.
What do you want to tell your 20-year-old self?
You crushed it. Congrats.
What do you want to tell your 40-year-old self?
Congrats, you earned it.
What's a philosophy you have that others may find a little off or a little strange?
Showering. My new thing is showering with the lights off while listening to Noon Pacific's playlist. It's unreal. It's the dopest experience. Do it. Noon Pacific. Turn the lights off. Shower. It'll change your life.
Yo, that's wild. Hot or cold? Hot or cold?
Dude, I go hot, and at the end, because I'm in Florida, I do super cold, so I don't sweat when I go outside, or get the tea all, a little moist. You don't want that.
Yeah,
Got to
yeah,
stay
yeah.
crispy.
Someone just got a $200 gift on Amazon, and they ask
Yep.
you on advice on how to use it, and you can only buy one thing. What would you tell them to get?
I would tell them, because I have Shades Club, it's all about value. You can't get one thing. You got to get a sick blender. You got to get
Boom.
you got to get cacao nibs. They're these like little, it's cacao. It's like chocolate that's like pure. You put it in your smoothie, change your life. You get a bottle of Alpha Brain by
Ooh.
On It Labs. It's the dopest thing ever. It'll help you with a lot of visualization. And get the children's book, Only One You, Linda
Bang.
Kranz. And that's
Bang.
it.
All
Maybe
right.
a pair of Roshis if you got some spare change.
If you got a little extra, like if you were to get
Yep.
able to get the other ones at a little discount, since Amazon like seems to be giving out stuff for free nowadays.
Yeah.
All right, and if you want to leave our listeners with one message today, or what you want to say to them?
Wow. So I would say, to think about everything that we talked about. And most importantly, I would say that if anyone out there is a friend of yours or a friend of mine, and if there's anyone that I can help in any way or I can learn from in any way, just hit up Boyder and get my direct number and call me, text me, smoke signals, telepathy. I don't care. Just get in touch. And I don't care if you want to come to Florida and talk, or we do a discovery call, or anything I can help with or learn from you. It'll be equal. And the last thing is that, I know this is going to sound a little different, but like I told you, we're going in a really new direction with a lot of stuff. But by the year 2050, there's officially going to be more plastic in our oceans than fish. So next time you're at the checkout line, skip the plastic bag. You made it all the way to the register without one, so I think you'll survive, especially if you're 200 plus pounds. Stop buying single-use plastics. Do your part. Take care of the earth, and it'll take care of you. And lastly, if you ever find yourself witnessing someone in trouble, speak up, step the fuck up, and it'll define your character.
Hey man, I love that. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Man, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, brother.
Keep doing you, and I promise you, man, I am going to be hitting you up in the near future, because you got morsels of wisdom on or off the podcast. And just thank you, man. Keep
Thank you.
driving.
I'm going to hold you to that collab, though, because I see this hoodie already.
All right, I'm down.
All right, my man. Thank you, Tommy.
Peace out, brother.
Later.
Hey guys, thank you for rocking with us. That was TJ Eaton, and he has an abundance of enthusiasm for life. It clearly spills over into the success of his business endeavors. If you have any questions or thoughts for him or myself, email me at tom@boyder.co, and I'll make sure he sees the messages. Have a beautiful week. I appreciate your time. Please share the show if you enjoyed it. Stay happy, healthy, and keep doing you. Love.